Well, here I am again, as Zsa Zsa said to the bailiff. Oh, do you believe her? She's back. So Zsa Zsa just pops up like the 17-year locust, doesn't she? You can't... You think she's gone underground, and there she... You probably know the story. That's all you saw in the news. Zsa Zsa Gabor went back into court because the judge said she had not done the time in community service she was supposed to do. And he slapped her with another 60 hours. She was supposed to do 120, but the judge said she only did 35. Did you ever notice how Zsa Zsa can make large numbers smaller? No. Don't you remember a year ago about the driver's license where she claimed that her car had been stolen by a group of Mexicans and they changed her birth date on the license? Yeah. That's a vicious gang. Remember them? Went around stealing driver's licenses and changing ages. Watch those people. Anyway, he's sentenced to another 60 hours of community service. Now, I think if he really wants her to perform a community service, he should ban her from television and newspapers. Now, tomorrow, Zsa Zsa's going to take a shot at me. Yes, I know she's going to... A year ago, I guess it was a year ago, and then all this started about the cop thing. Yeah. And I was making jokes about Zsa Zsa. I find her amusing. And... I find her very amusing. And she went on and gave an interview and said Johnny Carson was a hypocrite. Because she says, when I was on the show, darling, he would wait till commercial and then ask me to meet him at the Beverly Hills Hotel. See, the problem is Zsa Zsa has herself confused with her sister Ava. That's the problem. Of course that's a joke, Fred. Can't you tell anymore? When you start to lose it. What, was that a joke? Yes, that's a joke. Well, let's see. Let's get off of that subject. As if California didn't have enough trouble, we go into water rationing. Yeah. I guess it's next week. The latest plague to hit Southern California is gypsy moths. Oh. That's right. Now, they are easier to spot than medflies. They can usually be seen at night, dancing naked around a light bulb with little teeny tambourines. Here's an interesting statistic in the paper. This is true. We don't make this stuff up. According to the... Okay, we make it up if he gets a laugh. Otherwise, according to the National Institute of Health, watching television, they determine, it makes you tense. Now, you see, about a great thing about watching a show like this late at night is that you can get tense and relieve the tension at the same time. I cannot believe myself that watching TV makes you tense. I can't believe that. What's more relaxing than watching small pets being sucked into a power mower on America's funniest home videos? Why should that make you tense? Well, another big thing on the news yesterday and television last night, President Bush has announced that this is the beginning of Physical Fitness Month. This from a president who throws away broccoli and eats pork rinds. Well, go figure. Now, here's kind of a bizarre item, and I guess it's true. The Food and Drug Administration has approved irradiation of chickens. Do you know what that means? Irradiation, not irradiation. Did I say irradiation? Irradiation. Right. Poultry farmers gained the right to zap chickens with radioactivity to kill salmonella, which may be a good idea. And there is a bonus. After a couple of generations, you get a third drumstick. Speaking of chicken, wasn't I just speaking of chicken? Well, that was just a little segue. Disc jockeys do that all the time. Speaking of chickens, Kentucky Fried Chicken people, the franchise, opened an outlet in the remotest region of the Australian outback this week. True. And an Aborigine tribesman took a little bite of the chicken and said, "You know, it tastes a little like rattlesnake." That was one of my personal favorites. What do people always say when they taste some exotic thing like snake meat?
Yeah.
Tastes a little like chicken, right? So you see. All right. Okay, starting tomorrow, diagrams of all the jokes. All right. Did you? Tastes a little like chicken, right, of course. Did you see Gorbachev yesterday at the May Day rally? Did you ever think you'd see the day that the president of Russia would be heckled by the Russian people at a May Day celebration? Yeah, and they even threw tomatoes at him. Well, no, let me put it this way. They lined up to buy tomatoes. And they should have them by October, but they wanted to. A lot. One of the reasons they're angry at Gorbachev is because they've got a big economic crisis in Russia, and there's a tremendous shortage of meat. Moscow is the only place in the world where people lift the bun off a Big Mac and say, "Wow, that's meat." Wow, yeah, I do that with accent, sure. One lunatic yesterday tried to throw a bomb into Lenin's tomb. True. And at last report, Lenin was still clinging to death, though. Thank you. One guy likes death jokes. Well, you've been seeing the problems with the Hubble telescope that went up last week?
Yeah.
They got it fixed. They got the antenna fixed. They said if they were not able to fix it, they would not able to fix it. They couldn't send up a repair crew until the year 1992. They must be using my cable company. And here's just another little piece of information I thought was interesting. The new King James Bible is out. First revised edition in 17 years. Have you read it yet? They've really updated. Well, what's wrong with that?
I just started this morning.
Yeah. Starts out in the beginning, I think. Yeah. That's still in there, but they've updated. For example, in the story of Noah's Ark in the new version, after 39 days and nights, Noah's wife makes him pull the ark over and ask for directions. Okay, tonight. We got a good show tonight. Mr. Dabney Coleman is with us here, who's in our new movie. Speaking of, we're talking about Russia. I believe Yakov did a tour of Russia. Yakov Smirnoff is with us tonight. And a young lady by the name of, I think it's Lara Flynn Boyle, who is one of the stars of the very inventive series called Twin Peaks. She is with us tonight. So stay where you are, and we'll be with you. Okay, folks, we're back. Okay, we've got Dabney Coleman here tonight. What's the picture he's in? Short Time, is that it? Yes. I believe it's called. Yakov Smirnoff,
Right.
who apparently has got a couple of pieces of tape he made while he was over in Russia, and Lara Flynn Boyle, who's one of the young stars of a rather controversial, a different kind of show called Twin Peaks. She will be here. Now, Monday, as you probably know, because it got big ratings, it was on another network, as they say, they aired the long-lost episode of I Love Lucy. How many of you saw it? Yeah. Well, believe it or not, nobody had seen it for 39 years until a copy turned up underneath a clown's bed. Now, let me tell you the story of this. I don't know how many of you remember I Love Lucy when they started. They had to put up their own money to do the pilot. because nobody had any confidence in the show and nobody would put up any dough. So they put up $5,000 of their own money, and then they were vehemently against Desi Arnaz doing the show.
Right.
They didn't think it would work. I guess they wanted somebody like the Brady Bunch or Ozzie and Harriet, and they thought the Cuban accent would get in the way. And Lucy held out, and boy, was she right. And it was the first show to do what they call a three-camera show, and they did it all on film. If you ever watch the reruns, you notice how clear and nice they are?
Quality.
They always did it on film. Desi Arnaz was a very bright guy. Anyway, and they had to build a special studio to accommodate a studio audience. They never did television shows, sitcoms anyway, in front of a studio audience. Anyway, they gave a copy of the pilot to a performer named Pepito. And if you saw that show, you realize he was a Spanish clown who appeared on that show. He died, the film was lost, and last month, believe it or not, true story, Pepito's widow looked under a bed and found the film. The reason I tell you this, we got to thinking. Occasionally we get to think on this show, not too often, but we got to thinking. What other treasures might be hiding under people's beds?
That's right.
Gathering dust. Well, in the interest of posterity, we decided to take a look. And we have some things here, notable things were found under various beds. Now,
We'd like to see them.
what?
We'd like to see them.
You're about to. Abraham Lincoln, as you know, probably our most revered president, I would guess, was best known for his stovepipe hat. Well, apparently somebody, after he passed away, looked under his bed and found this, didn't know what it was, put it away. We found it this week. Believe it or not. It's his stovepipe chamber pot. It's an actual... Quite possibly he's still too much revered. Every couple of years we throw a Lincoln joke in, and it never really takes off. You know, because I guess it's the way he met his maker and so forth. But okay. We want to get that one out of the way.
Yeah.
We figured that would get the least laugh.
Right. You have to start someplace.
What?
You have to start someplace.
Well, they may prove me wrong, but that is the least laugh. Now we're going to go up to level number 2. The cleaning staff at General Motors even looked under Mr. Goodwrench's bed. Sure, you say. Well, they did. And what did they do? They found Mrs. Goodwrench's nightgown. I told you. Okay. You all know the lovable alien elf?
Yeah.
I've never been able to stand him myself, but no, I shouldn't say that. No, he's lovable. Apparently Alf likes to snack in bed because the studio janitor looked under there and found this, a half-eaten bucket of Kentucky Fried Cat. I know there are a lot of cat lovers out there. Don't send me nasty letters. Here's something was found under the bed of Senator Alan Cranston. Oh. This is complimentary toaster, courtesy of the Lincoln SNL. And the way it pops up. Okay, moving along here, building with this, we discovered this under the bed of Roseanne Barr. Yes. Well, this is Roseanne's long-lost childhood toy. Let's see how this works. I guess I turn the little... A Mac in the box. They're building every moment.
Yes.
I can hardly wait to see where this is going. Here's a strange item the Secret Service found in the White House under President Bush's bed. It's a broccoli voodoo doll. That's right, folks. This is fine comedy material. And instantly, they looked under Warren Beatty's bed, and they found this. Another bed. Well, see, when the other one wears out, this would be enough. And we didn't want to bring a full-size bed out here. And judging from the size of the laugh, we made a very good decision. Not as dramatic as a prop, but nevertheless, it saves us a bundle. All right, Britain's Prince Charles. You all know must like listening to a class of music in bed because they found this in his room. Stereo Walkman. Prince Charles. Comedy sometimes has a cruel twist to it. Officials in Iran looked under the Ayatollah Khomeini's waterbed this week. You don't believe me, do you?
No.
The Ayatollah
Hard to believe.
Discovered this. The Hell Employee of the Month. Okay. And they looked under Dr. Ruth Westheimer's bed. A ladder to help her get into bed. They looked under Roger Rabbit's bed. Yes, Roger Rabbit, the Roger Rabbit, and found this. His lucky Bob Hoskins' foot. Didn't this afternoon when we were looking at this, what did I say at that time? No, then I said something else. We paid for it, let's use it. You know? When you pay for a prop, you use it. Sometimes you take your lumps, we took it. A couple of people like to read themselves to sleep. This was under Shirley MacLaine's bed. Copy a magazine, which I'm sure you may be familiar with. There's another one, remember, this afternoon? Watch this one. This was, if you look around long enough under bed, you're bound to find something embarrassing. We found these two items under the bed of Long John Silver. This first, and a high-heeled peg. Now, would you expect to find something impressive under the bed of casino owner Donald Trump?
Yes.
Well, we weren't disappointed. We came up with this. This is the Taj pajamas. A bloody fortune for this. Well made, well made. Okay, let's see, we may have just one more here. Everyone knows if you don't vacuum, you get dust bunnies, right? Believe it or not, they found this under Hugh Hefner's bed. A real dust bunny. Thank you, Gary. There you are, folks. Good talking. Thank you. Now, there's a prop. Okay, we'll be right back with Dabney Coleman. Okay, we're back. All right, my first guest is, I like to call a friend. He's a funny man and a very versatile actor. Dabney starring in a movie called Short Time, which opens Friday, May 4th. Would you welcome Dabney Coleman? hello.
I swear to God, he's got it again.
What's that?
The hair on your nose.
Oh, don't start
man.
that again.
He does. Look, come here. See there? Who does the makeup on this show? You owe that money
to Harry.
What,
ridiculous.
would you go up to a young lady at a party and say something like, well, I've seen
You know
dress
what? You know what? This is not a young lady.
No, I know that.
By my record, yeah.
But would you do something like that?
At a party, at a social party, it may be a friend's house on the beach.
And do something
say,
like
in
that?
Malibu.
That's right. And
Yes.
say something. You were there. What up, since? How you been?
Did I get away with it?
Yeah,
No.
No, you didn't. So what's new in your life outside the movie? We'll get to
I'm
that in a
good.
moment. Can I go back in your life a little bit?
Yes.
Let me go back there.
How far?
Somebody brought the... well, I'm going to tell you how far.
Okay.
This is a copy
You
of,
find it.
of a real life magazine
Doing fine.
of May 18th.
We're looking good. Jimmy Hoffa.
Jimmy Hoffa was on the cover, May
we're gonna
18th,
get sentimental, huh?
1959. And no, the reason I saw this, I did an ad also once a long time ago for the same company. It is an ad, obviously, starring the Zachary Scotts, who was a fine movie actor. I don't think Zachary is with us anymore.
No, he's not.
And it was an ad where they were throwing a party. It was called a vodka party. And we're looking at all these actors here. Now, I want to show you one actor. Get the camera. Come in here very close. Closer. Got to come in closer. Can you tell me who that is, folks? That's Dabney Coleman.
All right.
Right here.
Right there.
Right? Come in a little closer.
Now, go up a little. Two ladies up.
Two ladies up. All right.
Right? The one above the one in green. See, that's my first wife.
Is that true?
Yes, that's Ann.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. My God, can I see this a
Yeah,
second?
do you know who the... You're talking 31 years ago.
I have 31 years, and I have not heard from her in 20 years. Have you heard from your first wife
All right,
recently? No news.
I really am going to let
no
that...
news at all?
I'm going to let that one go right now because...
I think it was worth it, Fred. 6 minutes.
31 years ago. Do you remember posing for that?
Yes, I do. We got 2 bottles. We got a case of vodka for that. That was my first pay in this business.
Did you ever do commercials other than this?
Did a bunch. But
You know, Ronald Reagan did. Yeah. I think Ronald Reagan did Arrow shirts at one time.
Yeah.
Posed for commercials and other things. What else did you do?
That's interesting as hell.
Well, I didn't. I didn't. I thought it was not amusing or anything. I just threw that out there
talk about my
to kind
own
of keep the
commercials?
conversation going here.
Try to get it going
Now
first.
let's
then we'll keep it.
well, if you would just
Brad,
crank
by
it
the
up
way,
here.
was not here, as you recall, last time I was here. You know, it wasn't the same without you, Fred.
I was sick.
Yeah, I thought it moved along a little better without him. Did you? Did you?
Thought so.
Well, I have to do a break here, and we're going to come back and really try to and see if our next guest is ready. We'll be right back. Stay where you are. Okay. Obviously, we're going to get nowhere with the other commercial. Did you really do any other commercials as a struggling young actor?
Yes.
On television, or were they all print stuff?
Yes. No, I did TV. I did. That's the only print ad that they ever used mine. I did 7 or 8, and they never used one except that one.
Yeah.
And that might tell you something.
But it's a good way to augment your income when you're just getting started.
Yeah, it is.
Do those things.
Yeah.
Okay.
How you been?
Good seeing you. Yeah. You're a baseball fan, I hear.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yeah.
And a close friend of ours, Bob Uecker.
Bob Uecker. As a matter of fact, spoke to him this morning, and I'm trying to. He's down in Kansas City. He's shooting some promos for what I think are those Zamfir commercials. If you look closely, I think that's Bob Uecker. Zamfir.
Zamfir?
I mean, if he took that pan flute down, that's Bob. He hasn't told me that, but you look next time you look at
playing those hauntingly
that's
beautiful
Uecker
melodies. Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
I think so.
Could be. But are you really close friends?
Yes.
Yeah. Are you a baseball? Do you go travel with him, or when you go to baseball games?
No. He has asked me to announce with him one time when they come to Anaheim, and it's funny. How I got to know him. He used to hang around by my driveway, like, oh God, like 6 weeks. He'd do it like 3 or 4 times a week. Finally, I said, "What is it you want?" He said, "I just, I want to be your friend." So that's what I did.
Just hung around your
And
driveway.
he's okay. He's all right.
Yeah.
He's all right.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Now,
Archives. I'm thinking archives. He's playing an independent melody over here.
that's right.
You're going to give up, aren't you?
Yeah, I think so. Is it hot in here tonight? You said Mr. There seems to be a lot of you.
No.
Is it cool? It's probably cool up there, right? See, we're sitting here
It's just perfect.
under these hot lights, and you don't help any.
Just fine.
This is definitely a best of Carson.
It really
this
is.
is really a best of Carson.
Somebody
draft out there anyway.
Okay, that takes care about Boogie. Now let's talk about Howard Cosell. Someone told me that you met Howard Cosell. You know Howard Cosell. You want to be Howard Cosell? Any of those, I don't care.
Howard, I was in New York last
You
week.
have a
doing
picture of
some
Howard
promo.
Cosell or what?
I got a picture of you, and I was in New York last week.
That's all. It's just warm in here.
This is a sick man.
Tell me about Howard Cosell. Did you?
No, I went
had
back
you met
there
him
to do
before?
some, briefly at a night of 100 semi-stars about 5 years ago. And I called him, and I said, listen, I don't know whether you remember meeting me, but we did. And I said, I'd just like to get to know you, have a drink with you or something like this. And the guy said, why don't you come up Sunday afternoon? And I went up there. And
How'd you get along?
You hear all... good question, because I was only there about 45 minutes, and I left.
Why is that
and
a good question?
The guy says, thank you, Dabney, for decimating my Sunday afternoon, an intrusion the likes of which has not happened in this country since the Redcoats disembarked in Boston some 200 years ago.
Are you doing Howard Cosell now?
No, I'm doing me. I've got
I
a
see.
nasal. I've got a cold. Yeah, I've got a little nasal deal here.
Right. Okay, who else did you ever meet that we could talk about? I mean,
Have you ever seen me do you?
what?
Have you ever seen me do you?
No, and I don't.
You never will.
And I don't want to see that. All right. Okay, let's get to the obligatory film plug.
Not on this show. It's not obligatory.
Which is the only reason you hauled your haunches
Thank
over
this
here.
man.
It's the only reason you're here to plug your thing.
Clip, Johnny, this time?
This is
we'll
your,
see.
This is your life. This is called short file.
Short time.
Short time. I think the original title was Short File, wasn't it?
Think about how much time you have left.
I know the plot of it. I know
All
the
right.
plot of this.
Okay.
So you're on the police force?
Yes.
You want to get off the police force? You want to collect insurance or something?
That's 1 out of 3 so far. No, man is going to die.
And you want to kill yourself?
Thinks he's going to die.
That's right.
Has to die in the line of duty to get his insurance.
Well, I was getting to that.
Yes. No, you weren't. I
Well,
could
I
tell.
was if you
No,
give me
were
a
staggering.
shot at it.
You were done.
All right. So you want to actually try to get killed on the job so you don't lose your insurance?
Right. For my ex-wife and little kid.
Right.
Yeah, which is a touching thing, a good sentimental kind of deal. So
And
it's a different kind of part for me.
Yeah, and you
it's
play
a
a
gentle
more
guy
sensitive.
with some soul and some, some feeling
Some
about
tenderness and
the other
sensitivity.
fella,
And
you know.
sensitivity.
Yeah.
That must have been a stretch for you.
What the hell does that mean?
You know exactly what it means. Do we have to show? Do we have to show?
We have to.
I mean, did I say that? I meant, do we have a clip of this? Did I say, do we have to show a clip of this? I meant, do we have a clip of this? Not do we have to show? Obviously, was this an independent production?
Are we going
or,
to see that tonight on this
oh,
one?
yes, on this show.
Around Labor Day.
Does this need any setup at all? Okay, now let's get you all know. My next guest is featured on the next Bob Hope special on May 19th on NBC. You all know Yakov. He's originally from Russia. He's been on a world tour, believe it or not, from Moscow, Russia to Moscow, Idaho. And he's going to be at Harrah's Tahoe May 9th through the 13th, and the Mirage in Las Vegas May 17th through the 22nd. Would you welcome Yakov Smirnoff? Good to see you.
Nice to see you.
I've been looking forward to this visit because the last time we were here, we were talking about the trip you were ready to take.
Right.
Now, since then, you've made the trip to Russia.
That's right.
Now, how long has it been since you were there?
12 years.
Yeah.
I haven't been back, and I was a little bit nervous going back.
I can imagine.
Because I've told few jokes here that are worth about 20 years each there.
But hasn't it opened up a little bit now?
It hasn't up a lot. I was be able to perform there, and when I was a comedian there 12 years ago, I would have to submit my material to Department of Jokes. Which is true. Minister of Cultures had the
They really
Department
wanted
of
to-
Jokes. Absolutely. Once a year, every comedian would have to submit their material.
Whether you worked in a nightclub or wherever.
Exactly. And you would have to stay with script for a year. You could not improvise or anything. If someone would heckle you from the audience, you couldn't say anything except of like, come back in a year. And timing is off, you know.
What kind of stuff now would they, if you can think of anything, what kind of stuff would they have censored in those days when you were performing there?
Well, you couldn't talk about politics, government,
Nothing.
sex, and religion. The rest was fine.
Yeah, you're kind of a documentary, the
That's
rest of
right.
it, yeah.
What was happening there, basically, you could not express yourself. You could
Right.
not say anything against the government or anything like that. And today, I walked on stage, and I was be able to say anything I was willing to say. Yeah. And I told jokes that I was surprised myself later on. I told them, you know, that now what surprised me in the Soviet Union, they have VCRs.
Right.
My friends had it, and I said, now you can rent the video that the KGB took of you earlier. And they laughed, and I got out.
That's amazing. I mentioned in the monologue that I never thought I'd see the day that the Russian people would heckle the president or the premier of Russia like Gorbachev.
Right.
Now, when the Stalin years and the Brezhnev and Khrushchev, that would not have happened at all, would it?
Not at all. No, I was so surprised. I brought a couple of things that I wanted to show you.
Yeah, we have. First of all, you want to show this tape
Sure,
first?
sure.
You did a couple little pieces of tape. You went to the. Is this the first one?
This one, yeah. This we went to McDonald's.
Oh yes, the
And,
biggest McDonald's in the world, I guess.
This is the biggest McDonald's in the world, and you can show it. It's amazing. When
Watch the monitor.
We came over, and we saw this line.
Here we are, right here.
And this is the line in front of McDonald's. It takes about 2 hours, 2.5 hours to get a hamburger in McDonald's. There is a line, you know, and yeah, see, it wraps around.
They think you're joking.
No, I'm not joking. This is true.
This is true.
Yeah, and it takes about 2 hours. It's a Soviet version of fast food, I guess. And one guy walked out, and he was so happy. He got a hamburger, and he took the wrapper off, and he said, not only they give you food, they give you free toilet paper with it. Now, we were
There you
standing
are.
in
You're in the
line.
line now.
Yeah, we were standing in line. You get so hungry. I was so happy that I brought snacks with. I brought American Twinkies with me,
Right.
you know, from America, and I was so happy I had them there. And I decided to share it with the lady who was standing next to me, and I told her it's American health food. And then she said that it looks like a potato from Chernobyl. and then she took a bite, and she said it tastes like potato from Chernobyl. So it was,
That's nice. Okay. You got another piece of tape also?
yeah.
That's it. That must be nice that you can go there, speak your native language, of course, and then converse in English. You, I assume, performed all in Russian when you were working for
All in
Russian
Russian,
audiences?
yes. And what surprised my friends the most, it was that I had an accent in the Russian
They
language.
really figured that you could pick up Americanization?
Yeah, and they felt that I was real American. And I said, well, if I give you my clothes, you'd feel American. They said, no, there was something there that is different. And I know exactly what it was. It was a passport in my pocket and the freedom in my heart. And,
Yeah.
And, yeah.
But that must have been fun.
Oh.
You must have had rather mixed emotions about going back.
It was a great experience to see the feelings that the free enterprises are booming with
Yeah.
all the glasses and perestroika. And on the other hand, the shortages are worse.
Yeah.
And we have another clip
Okay.
that is when we went to the store. You know, an
Watch
average Russian store. My mom took me to this store when I was a little kid.
Look at this.
And she would put me in a shopping cart so we had something in it. And now this, you know, the food, short of it, but it's not really good. Look at this chicken. You
Ooh.
know, it's done by the Colonel Gaddafi. Finger licking good wouldn't be mine.
No, that's a bad looking
And
chicken.
here's a long line of people waiting for nothing. You know, and one thing they brought in is National Enquirer to this whole thing. No, people don't want to buy it there either, just want to read it in the supermarket. You see? Now, this lady wanted to be inconspicuous, but it fell down, so this is when Russia gets religion. You just pray that nobody sees you seeing that. And she's going to say, oh, God, please don't let anybody see. Oh, I just wanted to see what that Trump Marley is up to, you know. And it just keeps falling.
Poor lady's having trouble there. It's Russia's funniest home videos.
I just wanted the inquiring mind to know.
That looks like one of the average readers, too. Hey, that's fast. We can talk some more. Stay where you are. We're going to come right back. Talking with Yakov Smirnoff about his trip to Russia. Without getting too heavy, I don't think any of us would have foreseen the changes that have taken place all over Europe, and especially in Russia with, I guess, the perestroika and then that glasnost and the openness and everything. How did the Russian people feel about what's happening with the Baltic states, especially Lithuania?
Well,
could you address that over there or even get into any of that?
Sure. People talk about this. Well, you probably saw it in the May Day parade yesterday. They were wearing, you know, all this things saying that we can't deal with it and we should change it and things like that. And I think it's a tough time for Gorbachev also dealing with that because, well, if some state of the United States would want to separate, you know, or a place of the United States, let's say Cleveland would want to separate. Well, maybe that's a bad example. All right. It's a tough decision. It's hard for them to make the decision.
One Soviet diplomat said something, well, he tried to draw an analogy. He says, well, suppose two or three of the states of the United States tried to, you know, leave. But we didn't drag those states exactly into the rest of the United States.
Well, when Gorbachev said that, you know, we're going to cut off all the oil and natural gas and all the basic consumer goods, Lithuanians said, so what's going to change?
What's new? Show me these things here. Are these from... There's a fascination that people would have. Somebody told me that Russian watches over in this country now have become very chic. Somebody says, oh, this is from Russia. And the watches sometimes look like they're about 50 years old. They're really kind of old-fashioned, right?
They are.
But they're very chic. Now, these are what?
This is a little souvenir. This is a Russian matryoshka that probably must have seen. It's like a Russian Barbie doll.
Yeah.
Well, it's a little different shape.
What do they call this? Kami or something like that?
It's called matryoshka. It has little other dolls inside. It's like pregnant Barbie. But here's what with glasses, what they are now selling on the streets, which is a Gorbachev doll. And it has inside a little Brezhnev. And then there is a little Khrushchev.
Look at that.
And then there's a little Stalin. Now inside probably Jimmy Hoffa, but I want to open it until I go on Geraldo Rivera's show.
Yeah, he goes for stuff like that. That's interesting. I want to ask you one question about McDonald's. I sound silly, but what was the price? Somebody mentioned a price in rubles over there. I don't know what the exchange rate is, but it was very expensive.
It's about 1 week salary of an average.
Are you serious?
Person. Yeah, but it includes the fries.
I'm thinking you get a side order fries.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It's very expensive. The food is very expensive.
Somebody said it'd be like something like $6 in American money.
Well, it depends how much you make a week.
Yeah. I mean, for them, that's incredible. Did your parents go with you on the trip?
No, my parents said that the lottery was up to $52 million, and they knew that the foreigner is going to win, and they didn't want a chance.
So they're sticking around for the lottery. Did your wife take the trip with you?
My wife went with me, and for her it wasn't easy because she's pregnant.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And so it was a little bit different for her, you know, to go to and eat Russian food and all that stuff. But I think she enjoyed it. It brought us real close together because they have real small beds in the bed. And it was fun, you know. When we have a child, I'll definitely take her or him there.
Yeah, that's great.
It has behavior problems.
Thanks for sharing those experiences with us.
Thank you.
We'll be right back. Here we are. Okay, we're about ready to to cash it in here tonight. Jakob Honig, thank you for being here. My apologies for the young lady, Laura Flynn Boyle. She's going to join us, what, later this week or next week?
Next week.
Because we ran a little long, but she will be back and join us in. She's, of course, on Twin Peaks. Anyway, thanks for this little trip through Russia. That was fascinating.
Pleasure.
And Dabney's movie is opening all over the country. In theaters, by the way. I will see you soon. Good night. I'm humbled by that applause.